Hello everybody. Has anybody wanted to have a green thumb and just never took the time to ever try to figure it out? Because I'm definitely one of those people. I was the kind of person that would much rather buy the stuff in a box or in the farmer's market, maybe mostly go to Publix, buy the container or the spice jar or whatever it is, fresh, frozen, whatever it was, whatever was convenient. Get it then, bring it home, figure it out later. I was definitely that person. Until recently, with understanding all the climate issues, the chemicals that are in our foods, and all the digestion problems, diabetes, heart disease, and all these diseases that are arising out of the ashes of Americans and actually globally, I never took the time or even thought about what was in my food. I just assumed that it was good. I just knew what I needed from the grocery and never thought twice about it. And when I saw the nutrition facts and trying to look up and understand every single nutrition fact on those labels, it's a nightmare. Especially when you have a bell pepper and it says 20 different ingredients that you have to sit there and figure out, why does my bell pepper or why does my lemon or any kind of fresh vegetable have 20 different ingredients in it when it's just a pepper or just that thing? It gets overwhelming and it's just, nah, you just don't want to deal with it. You get what you get and don't even think about it. So today I wanted to show you what a lot of people misstep in growing their garden is actually replanting one. So I'm going to be replanting this purple bell pepper, you can see him right here, this guy, into this pot. It definitely is a pot. So I know it looks a little funky because it has like a bark looking outer edge, but is the next step for this plant. So a lot of people misstep and either get too large of pots. Sorry, this guy's a little too tall on my face. So what people usually misstep when they get a garden or they get plants that already are alive and end up killing them is because you get plants that are like this big. See how tall he is, but the plant bottom is small. Originally what you would do is you don't step into the big boy plants until you take a step in just the next size up. A lot of people just assume that they need to get these large pots because of how tall these plants are, and that's not the case. The larger, you have to make sure your plant is ready to actually move to the next step, and on top of that, you don't want to move them too much because they get really bent and that's when they end up dying. And if they get too much soil or too much water, then that's when they drown. They get too much, all kinds of diseases can happen. That is the reason why it's important to make that next step. So what the first thing I'm going to do is I'm going to get this. I have a bag of soil down here. Bring you guys with me. I have raised bed soil, and it's organic. That's just my personal preference. I just like the organic mix because they grow a little bit better and easier. And if you see in this soil, there's like pieces of mulch and stuff in it that gives it that raised bed. So first you're gonna just put some soil at the bottom here. You're gonna make about 3 inches of soil just dipped into your pot. So see, I don't know if you guys can see. You can see the particles in there of the mulch that makes it, that's the raised part is the mulch. So I'm gonna put this in here, and that's gonna be our base. So next step we're going to do is get this guy out of his pot. So what we're gonna do is, the easiest thing is you can twist them around, but I personally like to dig my fingers in because I don't want to pull on the stem and him come like breaking the stem or breaking the plant itself, especially since there is vegetables on here. So I'm gonna dig down about 2 inches and just pull on him a little bit, and it should come completely loose. See, no dirt. Sorry about this angle again, but so as you can see, this is how your plant should look when coming out of the pot. You'll see all of these. See, these are like veins. These are all the roots for him. And seeing how many roots there are right here, he is definitely ready to grow into the next step. So I'm gonna gently put him into this pot. See, it's just him sitting on top, but I'm holding on to him because it's not exactly stable yet. So what I'm gonna do is, let's see if I can get a better angle. So sorry about these angles. It's just difficult to show this. So you see how he's a little bit taller. So what I'm gonna do is let him sit there. And so there's a big hole around him. Because we only put about 2 inches of soil. Sorry, he's so tall. Soil over here. So what we're gonna do is, you never ever ever put the soil in on top of the existing plant of that whole group of what we just pulled out. You never put soil on top of that. You all just put the soil around the plant. So what we're gonna do is do that. And just pack it in there and lightly just make sure it's packed all the way around evenly, because you want him to sit up perfectly. Ooh. So again, just don't make sure any kind of soil that gets on top of the plant, you want to make sure nothing gets on top. The reason why you don't want it on top right here, because this is the actual, you'll know the difference, because usually the plant that you pull out is usually like a little bit more dense, and it's a little bit more damp than the soil that you're pulling out, because of the watering and upkeeping. The reason why you don't put the soil on top is because you'll suffocate the plant, because that's how they get oxygen and actually breathe. Besides the, this is the photosynthesis, but this is how the roots actually breathe, is through the top. They don't breathe through just the plant's leaves. That's how they get sunlight and start the photosynthesis process, but that's the bottom is where they actually breathe, and that's how plants can suffocate, and they can get overwatered and not been able to dry out with the water that's been given to them. So I put some soil, a decent amount of soil around. The next step is, this is plant food. I get organic plant food. The reason why I get organic versus regular plant food is because I'm a little bit more self-conscious with my foods and stuff. I'm very into that kind of process, and the organic is actually the best response. The food has the best response back of how fast the plant grows, and the energy and the plants, and just growing, trying to grow some of these plants sometimes takes a lot of time, and this helps with the process. And it's the organic plant food, soils, stuff like that, it makes the plant grow quicker. So what I'm gonna do is get about a handful of soil. It looks like little pebbles and rocks. I'm going to sprinkle this around the soil. So what I did is get a pinchful, almost like about that much, and put it throughout all of the soil. I'm gonna get a little bit more, get a little pinch, and just put it around, because this is plant food. And this is, I like to get all-purpose, because then you don't have to worry about the plant, like what kind of plant foods and stuff that you do have at home. You can just worry about planting them, taking care of them, stuff like that. So I'm going to get more soil, put it on top, and make sure it's not covering the top. And I make sure to pat it down. we perfectly repotted this whole plant. And so initially, since he was a little bit damp, but not totally damp, let me find a new prop stand because I need my water. I have some water here, and if this is the number one rule. If your plant was already really damp and like sopping wet, that's that you're overwatering your plant. And also, if you a good way, see, there's been bugs eating at my leaves. You want to water them a little bit to get adjusted to this new soil. And if there's too many roots at the bottom, you pull on the roots to let them loose a little bit to help grow. But this one didn't have too many, so he should be okay. Okay, and that's it. So now we completely repotted this plant. You see this? These are the roots that let him breathe, and this is the plant. And he came from that little guy. So now he's gonna be able to grow bigger, more peppers. It's a good time. And I hope that gave you a little bit of facts. One quick thing before I go. Also, for any vegetables and tomatoes, vegetables in general, I definitely recommend getting some spray. This is very good for keeping an eye on your plants when they first transfer over, because sometimes they get I don't know the word, some diseases and stuff, they're a little bit more vulnerable. So you want to spray this on them about once a week. And if they do conceive any kind of diseases, you spray this once a day for 7 days straight. And then after that, you just do it once a week. This just helps with overall like bugs, diseases, anything like that. So this one's a good one to get. And that's all. Thank you so much. I hope you have a great day.